People who live in the West Country, Devon, Cornwall, those sort of areas, will be aware that obviously the digital switchover has happened or is starting to happen down there. Other people who are travelling down there on their holidays with their motorhomes and their caravans won't be aware of that necessarily, so they need to be prepared before they get there, because they may have analogue equipment in their vehicle, and when they get there they're going to switch the TV on and find that they get no picture at all.
So at the moment, for people who have got a TV and an aerial of some sort, they'll go to the West Country and they'll get nothing.
If it's an analogue system, they'll get nothing at all. If they happen to have a TV with a digital tuner built in, and for the last few years many have, they'll find that in a lot of areas they'll get the normal Freeview channels. But the reception in a lot of areas where caravanners will go is, just by nature of the beast really, is not a full signal. So they may find that when they're at home watching digital TV through a terrestrial system, through Freeview, they can get maybe 40 channels or more. In the areas in Devon and Cornwall where the campsites are, they may find that they can only get 20 of those channels, or in the worst case, none at all, or very few. The thing with digital TV through an aerial, a terrestrial system, which is different to the old analogue system, is you have to be more accurate with the aerial, and ideally use a high quality aerial. Nowadays with TVs being auto-tune, it makes life a little bit more complicated. With analogue, you were able to start your TV tuning, move your aerial around, and it would find some sort of signal and then fine-tune your aerial on afterwards. With digital, it's a finer beam. You only have a 20-degree angle to play with, and it's more critical that you point the aerial in the right direction before you start tuning the TV. Because if you're out of that 20-degree angle by just 1 degree, you will tune your TV in, ask it to tune in, and it won't find any channels at all. So then you won't know whether the fault is your TV, the reception area, the aerial, or any other problem. So you do have to point the aerial in the right direction before you start tuning the TV. We have a meter to do that, to enable you to connect the meter to the aerial before you start. You connect your aerial to one side and move the aerial around, and as soon as you hit the best signal, then the LEDs will light up and tell you that you're on the signal. At that stage, you can then connect the aerial to your TV, ask it to auto-tune, and you know that you're going to find some channels. A lot of the areas of where caravanners and motorhomers go actually receive their signal from a relay transmitter, which is a smaller transmitter. The relay transmitters will only be sending, in actual fact, half of the channels that you would normally receive on Freeview. Setanta Sports, unfortunately, isn't one of those. There are a number of other channels as well that you won't receive. That's not going to change, that will stay the same. Those relay transmitters tend to be dotted around the coast in the West Country, so the campsites around the coast will suffer with not receiving all the signals. This is the main thing. If people are using Freeview at home, they'll be used to the 40 odd channels. They may well find, as I say, when they go away, that they're only receiving half those channels. BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, that sort of thing will be there, but a lot of the other channels that people have grown to like won't be. The interesting thing is that at the moment in most of the country, we still have analogue, and we have a 50% strength digital signal. So you may well be using your digital TV, picking up a signal, and you're fine. If you're in an area where you can't get a very good signal, you can revert back to analogue and get hopefully the 5 channels, maybe a little bit snowy, but you'll get used to that and be happily watching those. When you go into the West Country, because quite importantly analogue is no longer there, you can't revert back to that if you can't get your digital signal. So it's either digital or nothing at all. That's the crucial point that people don't realise, because Digital UK are only informing people, quite rightly, in regions where digital is about to happen. So it's happening slowly around the country.
For caravanners and motorhome owners, because we tend to go to countryside places away from big cities, we're less and less likely to get a good signal, or we're less and less likely to get 100% of the available channels.
That's right. Yes, that's right, because those areas will rely on the relay transmitters, which are only sending half the signal. They're only capable of sending half the signal. That's the way it's going to stay. There's no plans to change that. So the only alternative, if you want to receive all the signals all the time, is to go down the satellite route. It's very simple how you use the system. You point your satellite dish at the satellite and hey presto, you get TV channels. It's very similar to a terrestrial system where you point an aerial, you point a satellite dish instead and you get the signal. Some years ago, 10 years ago to be precise, Germany made the decision to put which is the BBC and ITV getting together to form a satellite company. On satellite, so there's no payments involved apart from buying the box in the first place. So we see now that relating reliable through satellite. So within a few years, all the German manufacturers of motorhomes and caravans had reverted from aerial systems to satellite systems. And obviously we're aware now that that will happen in the UK as well.
Are the manufacturers showing interest?
Manufacturers are showing huge interest, yes. It's always a slow process, but yes they are, they're showing huge interest. On satellite, interestingly as well, as high definition comes along, 19-inch and upwards are already available. So as that market comes along, it leans more towards satellite than it does towards terrestrial.
Okay.
It's a common misunderstanding in the UK when people talk about satellite TV that they refer to it as Sky TV. Sky TV, you have three options. From that, what's called the Astra 2 satellite, you have three options of receiver. Skybox, FreeSat box or a free-to-air box. You will need if you want the premium paid-for channels. So if you have a subscription to Sky already at home and you want the same channels when you're away, you will need a Sky box, there's no way around that. And possibly a second subscription or take the box from home. You are officially then restricted to use in the UK. The second option is a reasonably new option, and that's FreeSat. That's a system from the BBC and ITV. A FreeSat box uses exactly the same system from Astra 2. That will give you 140 channels, all your normal terrestrial channels plus lots of the other ones that you would normally see on Freeview. Plus you can get HD channels, high definition channels, interactivity from the red button, i.e. subtitles, audio subtitles, teletext, that type of thing. And the third option, if you just want to be able to receive your normal channels but not in high definition, then just a free-to-air box.